Welcome back. We are talking today about personal change, and we're applying this powerful framework that Alex Hormozi rolled out, and I've adapted and changed. For him, it was a framework on mental toughness. I really see it as a framework of our stress response, and we're going to take this one step further and apply it to how to change anything in your life. Whether you're trying to lose weight, trying to get in shape, trying to be less angry, change your relationship with your phone, you're addicted to gaming or alcohol or pornography, whatever it is. I've worked on a lot of these things, and I help men all the time work on these things as a dentist. So I've got a group of over 50 dentists that I'm currently working with who are getting in the best shape of their lives. They're husbands and fathers. They want to be better versions. They want to reconnect with God. And a lot of times what gets in the way is our bad behavior. If I want to be a better entrepreneur, if I want to make more money, if I want to impact more people, do more good in the world, I have to control myself. I have to control how I respond to bad things happening. That is a limiter. It's a fundamental limiter. And so understanding a framework of being able to look back at like, okay, how did I respond? I blew up and I yelled at my kid. What happened? Why? What was going through my head? What were the stories I told myself? That right there applies also to behavior change. And we're going to talk about that in particular today. And we'll use binge eating because I'm getting dentists in the best shape of their lives. And in order to do so, you have to be in control of what you put in your mouth. If you're not in control of what you put in your mouth, are you in control of what comes out of your mouth? Are you in control of all these other aspects? No one else is forcing you to eat food, but I struggle all the time. Why is it that honeycomb and cinnamon toast crunch at 11 p.m. at night just are calling my name? This is a behavior that I've conditioned myself in the past to soothe my stress, my anxiety, my depression, or just being tired. I'm just exhausted and I reach for comfort. I reach for dopamine, I reach for cereal, whatever it is. So let's apply a framework of mental toughness and stress response to personal change. Okay, we went over this in the last video, but I want to show you real quick. Now with a framework of personal change, I want to eat differently than I've done before. I want to stop eating Oreos at night once my kids go to bed, or stop eating all of their food like a trash can. So this line right here is our behavior, starting at the left, and something comes along, this red X, whether that's a temptation, a stressor, that knocks our behavior off. What's different when you think about this in terms of personal change is previously we were looking at just your normal behavior in alignment with your goals and values. Now we're actually elevating our behavior. We're saying, I used to do this, now I'm going to do something else. But with that, there is a tendency to fall back to our old behavior or worse. And we give up and we snowball. So you're trying to eat well, you're trying to go to the gym every day, and all of a sudden you fall apart and you feel like, oh, I've been not able to eat these foods recently and now I'm off the track, and this happened to me. I'm gonna binge. I go and just eat everything in sight. That is what this dip is. Okay, I'm trying to establish a new baseline of behavior of eating healthy whole foods that are in alignment with my goals, that help me look like I want to look and feel good, and I fall back into patterns of eating old foods. So the question is, how bad does it get before I stop and turn around? How quickly do I do so? And then when I do that, do I learn? Do I just beat myself up and think, man, why do I suck at this? Why am I so bad? Why do I always fail and return to my old ways? Or do we do a post-mortem and say, okay, that didn't work. What was the set of circumstances and what can I do next time? What are the things I can put into place next time that will allow me to not binge, to lose weight, to get a six-pack, to get in great shape, or stop being addicted to my phone? So let's put language to each of these phases and think about what this means in terms of not doing something that you don't want to do anymore. Okay, so putting words to these different phases is going to give us language to think about it in the moment and after the fact. Because otherwise, if we just look at behavior and we see it as binary, either I failed or I won, I achieved what I wanted or I didn't achieve what I wanted, there's not a lot of room for growth. It's all or nothing. And all or nothing perfectionist thinking is what leads us to shame and spiral and hide and fail and give up because we just feel like I can't do this. But as soon as we have language to describe different aspects of this, we can look at how did I do this time with my tolerance. So tolerance being, we're applying this to food this time. How much does it take to get me to break? the tempting foods, the social pressure. So my wife bought a dozen donuts this last week, and I was not going to eat the donuts. And I ended up breaking. Having those dozen donuts on the counter was too much for me. I recorded it. I measured my donut and I ate my donut. But I realized, okay, having the donuts with the box out, seeing my favorite maple glazed donut sitting there was, at that time, that day, with me being sick and tired and exhausted, I failed. But looking back, I can say, okay, the donuts broke me. Could I have held out longer? And in fact, I did. I said, you know what? If you want to eat the donut in an hour, eat the donut. It's still going to be there. And so that is different than immediately eating one and then the two and then three. So I could look at my tolerance. Is this a chance to build my tolerance, to hold out longer, or change the environment, change the situation so that I don't break? Put the food away, hide it, recruit someone else, your kids, your neighbors, to eat the donuts so you don't have to. And then when you do, how much of a spiral is it? How well can you contain the damage? So do I eat one donut? Do I eat a half a donut? Do I eat 5 donuts? I'm a Krispy Kreme guy. You throw Krispy Kremes at me and it's bad news. I know that about myself. And so I rather just would stay away from the box entirely. But can I stop myself? And then can I build strategies and look back and say, you know what? I held out a little bit longer this time and I stopped myself from going worse. And I ate a donut and then a few bites of one more, and then I went and ate something else. I went and did something else. I distracted myself. That was a win. Then recovery speed. Okay, how fast do I bounce back? Do I let this little binge turn into a big binge for a long period of time? And for multiple days, I just give up on eating healthy whole foods. I just go back to my old patterns. Or do I, in that moment, catch myself and say, I'm going to realign? I can eat these foods. I think it's really important to not be restrictive. This binary all or nothing. I can't or I can. When I help these dentists lose weight, when I help them overcome their bad habits, it's like, you can make that choice. You're going to have to make some other sacrifices. If you want to eat something that's really sweet or whatever, I'm not a proponent of all or nothing. You can have a little bit and enjoy it and be intentional. But if it's not working for you, if it leads to a slippery slope, then is it worth the mental battle to fight that food? And would you be better off just not having it there? So recovery speed is a super powerful indicator of, okay, how quickly can I realign? And so as we get off track, we're like, okay, crap. Instead of being upset, we can say, sweet, this is a great opportunity to practice my containment. This is a great opportunity to practice my recovery speed. That right there immediately reframes it. Rather than beat ourselves up, we treat this as an opportunity to learn a new skill, to practice a new skill, to try a new strategy. I'm a fan of meditation. I'm ADHD. Meditation's kind of hard. I hate being bored. I hate doing nothing. And so when I first started learning meditation, you're supposed to pay attention to your breath. Your mind wanders. You're like, oh crap, my mind wandered. I suck at this. And then you come back to your breath. Until a meditation teacher reframed this for me that said, no, actually, when your mind wanders and you catch yourself, you wake up to the fact that your mind wandered in that moment, you should actually be excited. You're like, oh, sweet. This is the chance to practice coming back to my breath. Not, I suck at this, I'm bad. It's excitement to realign. And that, how we treat ourselves as we change, drastically increases our odds of success if we can have a healthy relationship to our struggle within this. And then lastly, adaptability. Okay, looking back on this, what worked? What didn't? You do a post-op. You do a post-mortem of, man, this situation, I don't like how I acted there. Why? What led up to it? Maybe it's that you were just anxious and that you really needed to go for a walk, talk to someone, distract yourself in some other way. If you look back and say, what didn't work, this is what allows you to absorb the goodness from it over time. And I truly believe that no matter what bad thing happens in our life, whether it's our own mistake or something bad that happens to us, we can take something good from that. We can adapt and grow. If you believe in God, I think God wants us to do that. That's actually the whole point. If we bring the hard things to Him, He will help us take something good and make something good out of it each time. So this framework here, I hope you can begin to see just even having words to describe these different aspects of behavior change and rebound allows you to think about it differently, both in the moment and after the fact. And you repeat this loop, and it is inevitable. If you say, I'm not going to give up until I figure out how to increase my tolerance, increase my containment, increase my recovery speed, so I'm faster and faster, each time I'm going to learn. You literally can't be stopped because eventually you'll find things that work. And you can look at each time as an opportunity to learn and to grow. In the next video, I'm going to take this one step deeper. We're going to talk about a very specific strategy within each of these. And we've hit on it a little bit today, but we're going to dive deeper and then look at layers of strategies that go into each of these legs. And this is going to be incredibly powerful because it's going to reframe how you think about everything in your relationships, but your relationship to yourself. Stick around. If you're interested in what I do, Next Level Fathers, follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM there if you're a dentist interested in losing weight, in changing your bad behaviors, and finding more alignment. And if not, we'll see you in the next one.